Run It Studios is the home of the Run Radio podcast and runradio.net, a podcast and station about the relentless, resilient, and innovative types, inspiring strides in life, business, and beyond. Welcome back to the Run Radio podcast. My name's Trina Wilcox. And when it comes to all of the things that everybody does, we are running things. We're running our business, our passions. And that's something that Tonya Todd, my guest today, has been doing. You've been writing, acting. You've got a whole list of things that you do. Welcome and tell me how you do it all.
Meow, and thank you for having me. I am a multi-hyphenate. I like to think of, instead of saying that I wear many hats, I wear many tiaras.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm very detail oriented, and to be completely frank, I create a schedule every day before the next day in 15-minute increments to
Oh,
make sure
wow.
that I allow time for everything. And there are days where I don't get things finished in the time allotted, but you know, I dedicated that time to it and it's time to move on to the next thing.
Oh, wow. I like to hear how people like you do that because so many of us these days are doing more than one thing. And you sometimes feel like, I can't, I have to give up XYZ to get ABC done. And it just doesn't feel fair and right. How did you decide to go ahead and do multiple things?
Many opportunities just kept presenting themselves to me. Like all I just wanted to be a writer. That's all I was
Yeah.
trying to do. I was just trying to and I didn't even mean to do that. It came to me in a dream and then it just kind of overtook my life. But I ended up writing a book about a woman who became an actress and that kind of manifested into my life and you know in my work in the community, I ended up meeting people who got me started with being behind the scenes with filmmaking and then ultimately I ended up directing my first short film a few years ago. So it's just been kind of a progression. You go along the journey, you are presented with different things, and sometimes there's nobody else to do something. And, if it means it's not going to get done, then that means it's you.
Yeah. Good point. So before you started writing, what were you doing? What did you do to pay the bills? What made you tick? And how did you turn to writing?
So I wasn't doing anything that I was passionate about. I worked at a market research firm and I was like a floor supervisor and programmers quality control. So I was a programmer and a supervisor at a market research firm. And I learned a lot of good skills there. It may not
Mhm.
have been my passion, but I learned how to oversee projects. I learned how to check for mistakes. Like it's very good at checking scripts and editing and things like that. So I learned some valuable skills there, but I wouldn't say that that was my dream job.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is I started writing the first book my first manuscript, the one that came to me in the dream, and I wasn't telling anyone about it.
Hmm.
And eventually my boss came to me and said, "I'm so sorry that we just can't afford to keep your position anymore. We're doing away with it. But I think that you would be a really good actor and model, so I wanna get you set up with my friend, and she'll kind of coach you through it and help you get started if you're interested." And it's like, "I didn't share this with you. You don't know about my book. How could you possibly know that this might interest me?" It was just one of those God universe moments. It's like,
No kidding.
let's just manifest this into your own life, and I mean, who just has someone say, "And I'm going to set you up with a coach to get you started."
No doubt. That is like the most ideal way to get laid off, is it not?
Yes, and I was paid the same amount of money that my character in the book was paid. It was like, that is freakishly accurate, and so I have become very careful with what I write.
That is really interesting. Wow. Okay. So you write things down and they come true. You
At
manifest.
times, like, I will say it has affected me, like, my best friend who knows that I created a character based on him, and he's like, "Don't let anything happen to my mom."
Oh.
Like, that was his one stipulation. "Do whatever you want, but nothing happens to my mom." It's like, done.
Okay, so you get this news that you're going to get a coach, you're going to start getting into acting, and you've got this book in progress? It wasn't finished
Yes.
yet, right?
It was not finished yet, yeah, like, I
So
wasn't showing it to people, it was like
right.
it was such a secret thing that only a few select people, my inner core, maybe 3 people I had told.
So what happens next? Do you keep writing?
I did, I
Okay.
wrote just wrote and wrote and wrote. I ended up writing 200,000 words on that one manuscript, which is madness. I didn't know what I was doing, clearly. It was just the words were coming out, you know?
Yeah.
And so I got help. I started joining different writing groups in the community. Henderson Writers Group has been like the hugest help in terms of writing groups. They have just been phenomenal in terms of connecting me with really great mentors and helping me learn how to critique my own work. By them critiquing my work and giving me opportunities to critique others, it really helps you grow as your own writing skills,
Mhm.
and they do a writing conference every year, so I was able to meet a lot of amazing people through that. I still volunteer for them, even
Yeah.
though I was on the board for a while because I just wanted to give back to them, and I still volunteer for them, and I probably will always be connected to them in some way, whether it's
Yeah.
volunteering or my goal is to one day become so successful that I can just create a scholarship to help other people
Yes.
partake in all of the great things that they do there.
That would be fantastic. I feel like you're gonna get there the way you manifest. So once you got this group, you got in the group, you were strong in your writing skills. When did you decide, or how did you decide to publish?
So that manuscript, I started querying way too early. Like I wasn't
Okay.
ready. Didn't know I wasn't ready. Like even the first queries that I sent out, I had the wrong from I had a typo in the amount of words. And so I had like 100,000
Oops.
more words listed on there.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, it was just a typo. I didn't mean to say this." But
Whoops.
yeah, needless to say, it wasn't grabbed right away. But eventually, I ended up getting an agent, someone I met at Las Vegas Writing Conference, and she started querying it for me. Like she started pitching it for me to publishers. And we started getting feedback from publishers saying, "Is this a vampire novel?" Which was not my intention. I mean, I love vampires and the qualities that you associate with vampires. I probably, it's like, oh, maybe I sprinkled a few too many of those in the love interest in the story because I think those things are hot. But one like publisher actually called her up 3 chapters in. It's like, you didn't tell me this was a vampire novel. And so she's like, you need to take a look at this. So I went back. I mean, she had read it. She didn't say vampire. But I looked at it and it was, oh yeah, it's all through here. Like I even have mention of a blood contract, which is said in jest, but yeah, like I can absolutely see where people would see those elements. And it's because they're part of me.
Yeah.
That's how I think. Those
So did
qualities
you
are
change your
me.
genre at this point?
I did. I went through it. I was like, Just add blood." Like that. It was
Lean
so
into it.
You're right. It was like if this I really tried not to make it a vampire book at the beginning because it was like, I want to write serious fiction. I want to win prizes. I want my writing to be so great. And my brother was like, It doesn't matter what you write, it's going to be a vampire novel." Like, give me a chance.
Really?
And so I went through, I revised it into a vampire novel, and the agent that I had, she doesn't really represent the type of fiction that I write. She signed me for 52 Love back here. So she was really my nonfiction agent. And she's like, when she saw my next manuscript, which is not a vampire novel, by the way, she said that she will take it and she thinks it's a great story and there are parts that she loves, but she doesn't have the connections to sell it. So maybe I should start looking for someone else for that. But she stayed my agent until I found someone. I
Oh,
pitched it at a writing conference and someone like scooped it right up.
gosh.
And so now it's on submission with a new agent. And I love my old agent. Like we're still
Mhm.
friends. She's wonderful. I support her and her other authors. And she's just a wonderful person, which is why I signed with her to begin with. And so my fiction is on submission, and 50 to Love actually found a home with Four Horsemen Publications, which was something I pitched on my own because of Comics Lit. I signed with them with AR Farina for Comics Lit, something that happened at an online writing conference. I didn't mean to pitch it. It was I was attending as a speaker. I stuck around to hear this publisher talk, and they did such an amazing job with their presentation that no one had any questions. Like they
Wow.
were thorough. They had everything. And even I was sitting there like, I wouldn't even know what to ask right now because they covered everything. And so the event coordinator was like, there's that feeling like nobody's asking any questions and it feels like no one was listening, but no, they just were thorough. So
Wow.
they threw me under the bus and they're like, "We know Tanya has questions." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. So
So I
now,
I
go
just
ahead.
asked them, "Hey, would you have any interest in this?" Which wasn't my project. It was my friend's project. I was going to be an essayist in his project, but it's the first thing that came to mind is, "Would you have any interest in this?" And they were just like, "Give it to me." And so I became co-editor, and because of my connection with the publisher, we joined forces, grabbed our nerd super friends, and put together this collection, and now we have a contract to do this, eh, indefinitely until there's no longer a want or need for it.
Very cool. So you've got at least three, four published
I
books?
have 2 books published. Is a one is about to be published, a short story collection that
Okay.
we're putting together. 52 Love is a book of intimacy tips that gives one
Okay.
intimacy tip per week.
Oh,
And
okay.
and there are going to be 4 short story collections that come afterward that are based on those tips. So there will be 13 stories in each book, and it's other authors have taken existing characters in their universes and used the tips to just tell a short story with those couples.
Neat. Okay. So have at all when you were writing and getting to that point where you knew it was going to be published, did you ever think about self-publication?
Of course I did because I attend writing conferences
Yeah.
and I'm part of so many writing groups and there are some amazing books that are self-published.
Mhm.
But I do not have the skills to put together a cover and typeset and all of that. It's like I would have to either pay a lot of money out of pocket to have that happen, or I would have to learn a lot of things that, again, aren't I'm involved in so many things. I have so little time for things that I don't feel a passion for doing,
Yeah.
and that's among it. Like, I don't feel a passion for learning how to do a cover. I'm not good with graphics. I struggle even with Instagram, like, "Just make the picture fit," you know?
Yeah.
That's not my skill set.
Yes. That's great though. I talk a lot with self-published authors and some that have done hybrid, some that have went traditional, and it's really interesting. I love hearing the different reasons why someone picked the route they did. So it's nice to hear the different points of view. Um, what about tell me about when you got to the point where you were acting and trying to make all everything fit into your schedule?
It can be challenging, and I for a long time, I was just doing so much volunteering that I
Mhm.
stopped writing. I stopped putting my writing as a priority in my life because
Yes.
that was for me, and I have all these things I need to do for all these other people. And I became very depressed, and it really got to me, and I didn't understand why I was so depressed. It was just the world was very heavy on me, and I attended a class, one of the speakers from Henderson Writers Group, and the weird thing is I was the person booking the speakers. I didn't book her for me, I booked her for the group.
Yeah.
Like, I was not thinking of me, but she said something that just it just snapped, to put your writing first. I'm not a morning person, so it wouldn't have occurred to me to do it first thing in the morning, like, I'm not
Mhm.
awake then. But she suggested that I put the writing first and do that first, even if I'm not awake yet, that the rest of the world is still asleep, get up early, work on my stuff first, and then I will have what I need to give back into the world and to do these other things, and it has worked wonderfully.
Oh, good. Good. What other tips would you give, so many people that are doing the multi-hyphenate? When to cut something from the list?
When you no longer receive enough value for it, for the energy that you expend on it. Sometimes you're doing something because you think it's the right thing, but it's making you miserable, and if you're miserable, you're not doing the best job that you could do.
Yeah.
You're
I
not really helping them or serving them. If it's begrudging, I mean, the energy matters. The energy that you're putting into it matters. So if that energy is tainted with anger or frustration, then there's probably someone who could do a more joyful job. And I wouldn't
Mhm.
say I'm the most joyful, jubilant person in the world. I'm very low key and calm, but that doesn't mean I don't have inner joy.
Yeah.
It's just not bubbly. I'm
Yeah.
not bubbly, but writing brings me joy, and so that is always going to be a thing that is a priority in my life. And the only time I'm not writing first thing in the morning is if I have another creative project that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
I mean, I write on my birthday, I write on holidays. Like I get up and
Yeah.
I do the thing because it's important to me. Now, if I'm on set, probably not going to have time to write,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm expressing myself in a different art that I
Yeah.
love.
You made a good point. A lot of times volunteering, as much as we love doing it, it does take from your creative, your energy, all of those things. And I think sometimes it can be tough to feel like, well, I need to take some of that back from me. You're giving to give, but then you forget to give to yourself, or you feel like you're being selfish if you're giving back to yourself.
Right. And the
And that
thing
can be
is,
hard.
you're giving to yourself is giving to them, because if you
Yes.
don't give to yourself, you don't have anything left to give to them.
Yes.
And I'm not saying you should cut out all of your volunteering
No.
projects, but if you are so consumed with it that you don't have anything left for yourself, then you should shift and let something go. Don't let all of it go. We should always be helping others,
Yeah.
and we always have something. Even it doesn't matter how poor you are, how sick you are, you always have something you can give, even if it's just a, a positive word or a connection. You can read a book and leave a review. Like these are things that
Yeah.
you can do that don't cost any money and they don't take too much time.
I like that. And you said writing first thing. For me, usually it's like my workout or running. I call those the non-negotiables in your day.
Yes.
And you just have those set. You do it like you said, you do them on your birthday because you want to get better at that, train for that, write
Yeah.
for that. Um,
And that is a good key right there. If you're asking yourself, like when people are talking about how do you determine what you want to do with your life, like what your goals are in life, is it something you would do on your birthday?
yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Or do you
Um,
feel you need a break from it? Like you need to take a break from it on your birthday, then it's probably not your greatest passion.
yeah. Yeah. What are some other projects that you have going right now?
Well, I'm on the Femme podcast, which
Okay.
is a collective of 5 women. We talk about movies and books and television shows and pop culture. I talk about activism. I have a show called Active Activism where I talk to people about their advocacy and the charitable programs that are important to them and how we should be active in our activism.
Oh, I like that.
No matter where you are, just figure out what it is that you can do to give back to the world. And if more people did that, we would have a much more nurtured world.
Yes, I agree with that. Is that easy for you to get guests?
Yes, I haven't had any difficulty. I haven't had a single no. In
Yeah.
fact, I've had a few people say, I don't know that I'm qualified.
Oh, yeah.
They would say, I don't know that I count as an activist. And so I'll bring them on the show and be like, okay, so tell me about this and this and this and this. Oh, all these things. Do you think that you're being active in your activism when you do those things? It's like I'm making a case for them because I
Yeah.
don't claim it. And I think that's because it's one of those words, like feminism, that people have the wrong connotation.
Yes.
Feminism means that you believe that women are equal to men. The end.
Uh-huh.
Like it doesn't mean anything militant. It doesn't mean anything anti. It just means equality. Well, being an activist just means that you are active in pursuing things that you care about. Like you are active in your advocacy. That's it. It
What
doesn't mean marching on the front lines. You
exactly.
know?
What are tell me about some of your guests. What are they advocating for?
So I've had people just come in and talk about how my producer, Maria Kerrigan, she came on. She's one of the people who didn't think she was an activist, but she makes a point with her little girl to bring diverse books into her little girl's world and teach her about people who are not the same as her. Teach her about body positivity. Like, she's being active.
Wow, yeah.
And she's doing this so that her daughter is a good human going forward. Like, this is going to have rippling effects because her daughter is now going to see people who are different from her as people, as equal. Not She's not going to see them as, oh, they're not me. She's going to be, here are the things that we have in common. I've had Marta Kaufman, who is the executive producer for Friends. She came in and talked about how she did, in fact, march on the front lines and how she's been arrested. And, she has done some amazing things. And like, she had the tagline of just get off your butts and get out there and do something.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
I've had
great.
people who have started gardens and people who have created organizations, people who do volunteer work with dogs, like just all different types of things that can be done on a small level or on a huge level.
That's great. I really like that. Where can people go to hear that?
Femon podcast is available wherever podcasts are found.
Great. Sounds
Feel
good.
free to
And
give that
tell us
back.
more about where they can go to get your books and connect with you.
My books are available again wherever books are found, the usual A and B options, or you can request it in your bookstore or library. My website is mstonyatodd.com. You can follow my newsletter and stay abreast of all of the things that I'm doing. I have a newsletter called The Tea on Tea, and that tells you what I did last month, what's coming up, and what I'm reading because I like to share all the books that I'm reading because it's at least 3 a month.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot for me. I'm a slow reader, but that is amazing. Thank you
I'm a
so
slow
much.
reader too. I'm not saying I finish all 3 in that month, but I
Okay.
read I start 3 books a month and, some are quick and some are really long.
Yeah.
Because I also do a banned book series and, that's 7 books that I have to read. Those those will be included on my reading list because they
Oh,
count.
that is great. Well, thank you so much. I love your energy and your extensive knowledge about so many things. And thanks for coming on and come back anytime.
Thank you so much.
Will you play a quick game with me called Fun Run?
Let's do it.
All right, it's a little rapid fire game. So,
Okay.
if you could run anywhere for your favorite kind of food, what kind of food are you running to?
Italy.
Italy. Ooh, okay. Have you been there before?
No, I want to though.
Okay, all right. If you could run to help anyone any time of the day, who are you running to help?
Probably cats. I love
Cats.
cats, big cats, little cats. I love them.
Where are you running to relax and unplug?
London. The
London.
weather is beautiful. I love the gray, rainy skies and
Oh, more of your
that's
dark side.
yes.
Okay, when it comes to fitness, running or something else?
Zumba. I
Zumba.
do like to run, but I get a lot more joy from Zumba because it's dancing,
It is
and
fun.
you're just dancing for an hour and you get a workout doing it. You don't even think you're exercising,
Yeah, I that was fun. It always depended for me on the teacher. If I had a really good teacher where I could get it down, I had a
Mhm.
blast. If
No, you're right. It does matter because some teachers are up there and they're just doing the moves, like they're being so extra about it that you're like,
yes,
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
right.
You're showing off. This is not your show.
Yes.
You're supposed to be teaching me.
I need like a 1, 2, 1, 2.
Right.
Yes. Thank
And
you
the funny thing
so
is I started running
yeah,
because of my book characters. That's something that manifested into my life. I was like,
really.
you should run. And I started doing it and I went to the park to like do
Yeah.
research and I started running. So that is another area that manifested because of my
So
characters.
did your character run a race yet? A 5K, 10K?
No, it's just running for exercise, but
Okay.
I have 3 characters, like, in the works that
Yeah.
2 are the manuscripts that are on submission, and 1 is an in-progress book. They're all runners.
That is fantastic. I wish you well. Come back anytime. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Tonya Todd.
Meow.
Be sure you watch, listen on all the platforms when you link over from runitstudios.com.